Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Juby here with Mossy Jaw Custom Baits, and I wanted to give you a little bit of, I don't want to say words of wisdom, because I'm not really that I'm a wise guy, but I wanted to talk to you a couple things about, most of you guys right now are out there, you're throwing a vibrating jig of some sort, of some brand, and that's really not relevant to the conversation. I would say the most common weight right now, the vibrating jig or bladed jig that your people are using, are a 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce. And right now, this time of year, this is a pre-spawn time. Water temperatures, for the most part, anywhere you go, 50 to 55 degree water. Yeah, I was watching Bassmaster earlier today, and I know they were talking about 52, 53 degree water. I'm sure it's warmed up as the day has progressed. That's fine. But that pre-spawn time, whenever those bass move up and they get on that first little shelf or ledge, if you will, in that 6 to 8 foot range, that is ideal bladed jig time. And right now in Northeast Oklahoma, most of our lakes that we're fishing, that's this time of year right now. And you could target that 6 to 8 foot, maybe even 10 foot. It's relevant to where a fish is going to spawn, and using your sonar. But let's talk about gear ratios. Throw your egos away. You don't have to buy that $350 Hyper Mag reel, although they're nice. They are nice. But you don't need that 8:5 to 1 or 10:4 to 1 gear ratio reel. You simply need the standard bait cast reel, 6.2 to 1, 6.4 to 1, that turns about 28 to 30 inches of string on one turn. That's all you need right now for a spinnerbait or a bladed jig. And then 15, 17 pound test. I use fluorocarbon, so 15 or 17 pound test line is perfect. I don't think you can use 20. If you were using 20 pound test line, I would use that 1/2 ounce bladed jig. Just my preference, but I don't typically use 20 pound test line on a spinnerbait or a bladed jig. It's usually 15 or 17, and that's it. So if you'll drop your line size to 15 or 17, drop your gear ratio down to 6.2 to 1 or 6.5 to 1. And if there's a lot of you out there, I know you guys drink a lot of Red Bull and you're just tweaking all the time. Hey, if you got to get a 5.4 to 1 gear ratio, I've done it. When I first started throwing bladed jigs, I used my square bill reel, just took it off my square bill rod, cranking rod, and put it on a 7-foot Falcon Buku, and that was my spinnerbait rod. And I used a 5.4 to 1 gear ratio reel, turning in about 24 inches of line on one turn. But I did that because I could have a normal retrieve. I didn't have to slow anything down, and my bait did exactly what it was supposed to do. And so you can make your set. That'll also allow me to use 20 pound test line. And I feel very comfortable with a 5.4 to 1 gear ratio reel, 20 pound test line on a 7-foot medium heavy fast action rod or an extra fast tip with 20 pound test line. I feel like I could keep a 3/8 ounce or 1/4 ounce bladed jig down close to the bottom if I need to. Now, once those fish spawn and then the shad spawn rolls around, you're not really concerned about gear ratio because you're throwing up next to the bank and then bringing it out. So you're targeting fish in that 1 to 4 foot water column. So where your bait is in that water column is going to be that first 6-8 foot out from the bank. So, or off whatever structure shad are spawning on that you're fishing. So that's kind of irrelevant that time of year. But this time of year, Get that lower gear ratio reel. I guarantee it. It'll help you out. It'll make you a better bladed jig fisherman. It will make you a better spinnerbait fisherman. Drop down to 15 or 17 pound test line. And those two things right there will make you a better moving bait fisherman. I guarantee it. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Throw out whatever comments you feel God leads you to, because it only helps me as a human, and it helps me to grow. I appreciate you guys.